Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the Leadership Doctors, Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilience Framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out. The Leadership Doctors alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water succinctly, creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in the Leadership Doctors to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the Leadership Doctors, Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. The Leadership Doctors alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 148 of the REALL Academy with your System Doctors. I am Dr. Sheka Houston of Create and Educate. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Sheka, and I'm Dr. Tammy Taylor. And good morning, REALL Academy family. Welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us.
And I know you all are probably saying they can't figure out who they are. But we did get some feedback on the name. So we were suggested to keep doctors in the name. So System Doctors is what we're going to go with. And that's because most of the requests for our work has been revolving around systems of success, which we're going to be talking about more today with our series. So that's what our REALL framework is all about, instituting the right systems.
Yeah, we develop systems for success and teach others how to duplicate those systems from a district level, school level, classroom level, student level, and even down to a parental level.
Most definitely. And we are part of the Fantastic Four live stream network. We are part 2. We just got off. If you start off in the beginning with us, you were with us a few moments ago with Principal Sean Hurt, who is our data guru, a part of the Super Saturdays. We start off at 10 a.m. with Principal Hurt. Yours truly, that's us, create and educate your system doctors at 10:30. And then we are followed by the AP and new Principal Academy with the GO, Principal Kafele. He is everything on reflective practices for leaders, teachers, counselors, every area. And we are still a part of the Fantastic Four that continues on Sensational Sundays with our colleague in Garland, Texas, Principal Josh Tovar. He is everything school branding, ultimate collaborator with his students and his staff. And he has his podcast is the PGP podcast. We're going to get it right, Josh, on Sundays. So
we are blessed to be a part of this fantastic four in the presence of these great educators. And shout out Principal Hurt. We heard you this morning giving away gift cards.
yeah.
We are just always in awe of the work that you're doing. Keep on doing that, brother.
Awesome. And he will be on with Josh tomorrow talking about his book. So make sure you join tomorrow to hear more about Principal Hurt's book. So let's see who we have with us. Our roll call, Ms. Truesdale, out in Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Miss Real Purposeful, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Stacy L. Joy from Los Angeles, and we know it's early over there. We are so happy that you join us each week. Good morning. Principal Rashard Davis in Las Vegas. He won that gift card this morning. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us. Principal Sherrod Laws, thank you for joining us from Greenville, North Carolina. And Principal Josh, and I responded to you, Josh. Tammy's going to be joining you.
I am.
Josh Tovar out of Garland, Texas. He's on that treadmill. Ready for Avid? I'm ready too, Josh. Melissa Jones Chunu out of Oklahoma. Good morning. And here's another one of our West Coast queens, Miss Jasmine Harris. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Miss September Devon Vance Daniels. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. There's Principal Hurt. Good morning, Principal Hurt. Principal Central Hicks. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And Miss Dot McKeever Jeter. Thank you for joining us. Another winner of the gift card. Congratulations. And I think I got everybody, and we'll still put up the rest of the comments. But we appreciate you all being here each week, every Saturday. You could be doing several other things, but you are here with us, and we appreciate you. So please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Help get the message out there. Don't keep us all to yourself. And then remember to tell us how you all have kept it real this past week. So that brings us to our topic for today, episode 148. Does your school have systems of respect in place for students? And we are continuing our series from last week. We've been talking about systems of respect. We looked at it from the leadership standpoint, the teacher standpoint, and now we're focusing on our students, because if we don't have systems in place for everyone, it will not be a complete system.
Absolutely. And these, the framework that we're using today will come from our real framework for kids. So we're going to be talking today about our real respect for students. And that's in our framework what we refer to as admiration. And we are talking about respect for yourselves, respect for your elders, ancestors, or adults, and respect for peers and others.
Most definitely. So when we're talking about students, as Tammy stated, that first thing we teach them, the first thing that they have to have respect for is you've got to respect yourself. And in respecting yourself, you've got to know who you are. A part of my town hall meetings, I would make sure that I would always mention to students the first people that you're representing when you come into school with your behavior, your attitude. You're representing yourself, and you're also representing your family. So, in order to represent yourself well, you have to know who you are as a student. So, one of the things that we would focus on is making sure, and these are some things that we didn't necessarily do when I was in the building, but these are things that I have learned since being at the district level that I'm helping teachers to institute is strengths-based assessments. It's something that I've picked up from a conference that I attended. And so if we want students to know what they're good at, we can't just give our assessments just with a grade on it. Because if I'm giving a student back an assessment and it just has 85, 95, or what have you, the focus is on the grade. And so that's how we get students who are obsessed with, grades at times. And sometimes, you know, educators are obsessed with that as well. But it changes the narrative, and I loved when the presenter gave us this information. When you take an assessment and give the student back, this is what you were good at based on this assessment. These are your strengths, and this is what we need to hone on this side. That cultivates a mentality of growth versus an obsession with grades.
Yes, Lord. And I'm so glad that you said that, because that great obsession that we sometimes have, we spill that over into parents, because everything we do seems to compare based on that numerical or letter grade. And I love that that's something that we can spend time thinking about, the strengths that students have or the challenges that they may have, versus always just feeling like we have to assign them a grade or a score, that
Mm-hmm.
because children are so much more than that.
Exactly. And so, with their challenges, especially when we're talking about students who, a lot of times they don't know how to hone what they're not good at. So, with their challenges, we do have to give them some direction on how do you get better at these things that are not necessarily your strengths. So, of course, if it's multiplication facts, you're going to give them some ways to practice that. I would also challenge them, because a lot of times my own daughters, I have a Gen, what is it? What is she? She's
Alpha is one of them.
Z, Z and Alpha, yes. So they love YouTube. So I always tell them, hey, search for a YouTube video. I love YouTube so much. Search for something so they can learn how to use it in productive ways. If you follow my personal page, I've put up how now I'm a mechanic since I learned how to change the battery from a YouTube video in my own Lexus key fob. So now I have to pay $80 to change a battery. I did it myself. I'm not a mechanic, but
I will bring all my mechanical needs over.
right, you can't tell me I'm not a mechanic though. But yeah, putting that back on them, letting them do some research on how to hone certain things. And of course, that's based on age. If it's age appropriate for our younger students, we may have to give them more guidance with the conferring that you all do at the elementary level, Tammy.
Yeah, and I think that you also have to think about it too when you are starting, especially the younger your students might be. You really have to start with helping them to know who they are. Um, Before they can start knowing how they learn and what their preferences are, or even responding to strengths, we have to start to teach them who they are and how to be true to who they are, and not be persuaded by others. And
Mm-hmm.
all of that becomes a part of the discussion that we have to have with little people about choices and how to make good and healthy choices versus making poor choices to fit in and those kinds of things. And a lot of that at our level is done through literature and making sure that we are providing opportunities for children to get to know themselves, as they get to know their peers as well, but really spending time and truly teaching them how to reflect, how to reflect on who they are and what they believe. And that will segment us into the next part of what we want to discuss. But there are lots of books that are out there that we can use. Like there's one book that I think is called The Reflection in Me. And it's all about teaching them. It reminds you of that whole concept that we continuously follow based on how Principal Kafele encourages us all to carry that mirror around and to look. Because on the cover of that particular book, it has a child who's looking into the mirror. And the book kind of talks about not that being just one aspect of who you are. What you see in the mirror definitely is who you are, but that's only one aspect of who you are. And it teaches them how to affirm themselves and to believe what they believe about themselves so that they learn exactly who they are. The other thing,
And before we move on to that next part, Tammy, were you going to the next part of it?
I was going to give just two more books because I think
Oh, go
these
ahead.
are important for people if you really want to spend some time helping kids to get to know who they are. One of them is You Are Here for a Reason, and The Me I Choose to Be. You were made to be who you were made to be. I am more than. It's just so many of them that can help
Name the
you.
3 books. I'm gonna put them in the chat.
Okay, so the one is The Reflection in Me.
Hmm.
I Am More Than. I think LeBron James might have even written that one. Who the I think is Who You Were Made to Be.
Hmm.
You Are Here for a Reason.
The Reflection in Me, and what's the other one?
I Am More Than.
Okay.
Who You Were Made to Be. You got that one.
No.
And then The Me I Choose to Be. It's really great conversation starters. And I saw that um, Carlos Johnson said, "What a powerful conversation and question. Schools need a self survey." That it helps to really spend that time to help kids get to know who they are.
Most definitely, Tammy. And what I was going to say before we moved on to the next thing is that I saw it's important for our children to know who they are. And I know that Dr. Akua, from his teachings, has taught us a lot about, the media and the negativity that children see in the media that they attach to their identities. And a lot of times they allow the media to define who they are instead of really knowing who they are through their history, through us teaching them at school, and through parenting. But I saw a graduation photo this past weekend because it's graduation time, but all of the young men, and it might have been on Coach Johnson's page, they were dressed as kings, and I just love that they had the king the crowns on, and they had on the African attire. It was just
Oh wow!
beautiful.
I
But
bet it was amazing.
yeah, but children knowing exactly who they are from their history, and separating this negativity sometimes that they see in the media of their identities is also important too.
I think it's a powerful thing, Shika, and I do think that you're right because when they learn that and value who they are and they recognize it from an ancestral perspective, that leads us into the next part of what we're going to talk about: the respect for elders, respect for their ancestors. When they know where they've come from and whom they've come out of, they can have a layer of respect that's not ordinary, because
Mhm.
if they don't know to have that.
Right, exactly. And one of the things that I would make sure in my town hall meetings, I would emphasize to students, because Principal Kafele teaches us, as the leader of the school, as the person where the buck stops with you, it's important for children to hear certain messages from the leader of the school. So I would make sure that I would tell my students, I expect you as the principal to respect my teachers. I'll never forget a conversation that I had with a student who was sent to the office, and I said, when you come up here, you're so mannerable and respectful to me. You say yes, ma'am, and you talk so pleasant and respectfully. I said, but your write up is saying how disrespectful you are to the teacher, and I'm just having a hard time understanding. And he said, well, you're the principal. I've got to respect you. I said, well, sir, yes, I am the principal. And yes, you do need to respect me. And as the principal, I'm asking you to respect the people that I hired to teach you. So when
Yeah.
you go back to this classroom, make sure that you are also respecting your teacher. So I made sure that I was intentional about having conversations with the children, and on my town hall meetings, I expect for you to respect your teachers. And I would explain your teachers spend a lot of time on lesson planning. They put a lot into their lesson plans. We check the lesson plans to make sure that the certain things that are needed to be covered are covered. So I want you to show respect for your teachers in that they have put time into what they're doing for you. This is not something that we just take for granted, and it's teaching you to respect what is happening in the school building. I would explain how we can sit here and watch the paint dry, and that just makes it longer. Participate in class. That just helps you be more connected to the lesson and not just sitting there saying that you're bored. Participate. And if it's not a way that you feel like you learn best, I would teach them respectfully. Have a conversation with your teacher after class. When we did this particular thing or learn this unit in so and so's class, whatever other teacher's class, we did this particular activity, and that was a fun way to do it. Is a way to advocate and give your teacher feedback in a respectful manner. So a lot of times we say that children are disrespectful, or we talk down about our children, but we've got to teach them how to do things properly.
That's right. And I think that one of the things that works for me is my my messaging is respect is reciprocated in our school. We all have to respect each other. And I think when the kids know, like you're saying, how you instill that message into them, that this is what I expect. When they know that that's an expectation and they recognize that everybody has to be respected, and that includes, I expect the teachers to respect you.
Exactly.
They buy into the fact that, yeah, this is a respectful atmosphere. And
Hmm.
I am very dramatic when they come to me for being disrespectful. I just carry on something fierce, like, you were yelling at my teacher? Are you serious? I don't even yell at my teachers.
Hmm.
And they're just kind of like,
Missed the mark on that one, Dr.
sorry,
Taylor.
sorry, sorry, Dr. Taylor. I don't even yell at my teachers. You mean you were yelling at the teacher?
Right.
Like, oh. But I do believe that um, a lot of that can come from, as we were saying before, just knowing who you are, knowing whose you are. I think I saw Jasmine might have even made that comment somewhere. Knowing whose you are and knowing where you've come from
Mhm.
gives you what you need to respect yourself, number one, and then be able to respect those who are around us, especially the adults that are in your life. And that happens oftentimes in conferences with parents. And I know this might sound a little weird, but sometimes I have to redirect children in parent conferences like, hold on.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. This is not how we talk to our parents. They don't, you don't talk to me this way. This isn't
Exactly.
how we talk to adults. Come on. And
Mhm.
they kind of come on board, but it's something that we have to invest time and energy into teaching.
Most definitely. And the last part of this for our framework is making sure that students have respect for their peers. And one of the things that we would have when I was in the building, we called it, it was morning roundup, or some teachers called it circle time, but the teachers would have students stand in a circle. They had a little thing that they would chant where they were greeting each other, but intentionally saying one another's names. So it would help them at the beginning of the year learn one another's names, but it built community within the classroom. And they would have maybe like a quick topic to talk about during that time. And the other thing is that, because we're almost at the end of time, making sure that you have some type of restorative practices in place for children where they understand and know that when an offense has occurred, that you have something in place to make sure that that offense, whoever was offended, is corrected. And it's not that some teachers sometimes they think that, oh, they're getting away with things, and it's not that it's without a consequence. The consequence doesn't have to be so severe all the time, but if we're not teaching children how we expect for them to behave and we're only punishing them, then the behaviors continue. But when we actually take the time to teach them what we expect behaviorally, then we start to see a change in their behavior.
I agree. And I think that restoring also is helpful for all parties because the offender too recognizes that I'm not axed out forever. And so we can recover from this and move on. And just know, guys, that one of the things we have to be willing to do is invest the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't like to see morning meetings or collaboration opportunities in the morning for students, but those things are very, very important. It teaches kids how to get along with each other, and it teaches them how to develop that layer of respect for one another, that when Shika's talking, I'm listening. We're not talking at the same time because I can't hear what she's saying if I'm talking also. Just teaching them how to respectfully interact with one another is going to pay off for your classroom teachers in the long run.
So we are at the end of our time, and the three systems, principle, laws, acts. If we have a system for respect, which this is a part of that, a system for leadership, and then we have a system for MTSS, which is your system for teaching and learning. So those are the three systems from the Real Academy, your System DoctHers, and we will see you all next on Principal Kafele's page. And then
Mhm.
on Sunday with Josh on the PGP podcast, right back here on Saturday with Principal Sean Hurt, and then us at 10:30. So have
And
a
Josh, I saw all those ugly messages you were putting up. That is so unkind to a team member.
we're gonna have to do a sidebar with Josh on respect. I'm just joking, Josh. You all have a great rest of your
Guys,
Saturday.
I guess we are over and out.